morning and welcome to our Meet the Media training, Social Media Best Practices. We're so delighted to have Diondra Atwell, Senior Account Manager at Thrive Internet Marketing Agency.
Hello, all. So excited for this. When Joe brought this to me, I think it's a fabulous idea for you all to understand how you can utilize social media to advance your organization, to get your message out and engage with those that will most likely be excited and interested in what you have to offer. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. Like Joe said, this is we'll be talking through social media best practices, specifically content development and distribution. With that, there's a lot that goes into it. There's several slides. Definitely want to make sure I leave time and space for your questions. Some areas will be more high level. Just because you can really get into the weeds. Like Joe said, I do work at Thrive Digital Marketing Agency, by far my most favorite agency. I really absolutely enjoy my job. I enjoy my role, helping partners achieve their goals. Thrive it provides a holistic approach to digital marketing. One of the services that we do offer is social media marketing for both paid and organic. Today, primarily, we'll be talking through organic. There will be some elements that I speak to that are specifically for paid, but just keep in mind the thoughts, the ideas, the processes will lean heavily towards the organic. Today, we'll go through content development. We'll learn about setting goals, strategizing, which will include leveraging social media platforms, identifying the target audience, content creation that includes messaging, the assets and formats, and then the distribution, which is there's software, there's an editorial calendar, and then how SEO factors into that, and then measuring your success, and then we'll have opportunity for questions. So content development. Just want you guys to know that the average internet user has almost 9 social media accounts. That means you have on average 8 to 9 times to interact through compelling messages. But before we set any goals, before we create any content, you have to set goals. According to this Empower and Elevate, nearly half of marketers note that aligning their social media campaigns, they're one of their top struggles. So why should we set goals? Goals hold you accountable, they guide your budget, and they encourage you to pay attention to the data being returned to you. So we'll talk through why, and then we'll talk through how. So definitely you want to start broad and then make them smart. I love a SMART goal. So tell me some goals. You can pop them right in the chat, one or two, that you might set for your social media marketing. And Joe, if you read one or two off, that would be awesome. Joe, you want to grab one of those goals that was added to the chat?
So I know, Diondra, working with you closely, one of the things that we attempt to do online is get people to attend our meetings and events and engage with us.
So that would be an engagement goal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's it could be on platform, and in your case, off platform. That is a great goal.
We often do as well, Diondra. We, try to share data points out. And, sometimes when you're on social media, you could see a lot of people sharing. It's hard, to say which one catches your eye.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a social media goal is a statement about what you want to achieve with a specific goal. So a marketing tactic or that whole social strategy. Good social media goals align with broader business objectives, just like what you were saying, Joe. Like you have outside events that you want people to attend. Here's some goals that other um, top savvy companies have created for their companies. So some want to increase brand awareness, some want sales lead generations, increase community engagement. And again, the community engagement that they're speaking about here is primarily on that page, but in your instance, because you do have those events, that could also be a culmination of that goal. Grow that brand audience and then increase web traffic. So those are all some goals that you could set for that social media strategy. So now we've talked about setting goals. We've identified the type of goals that we want to set. How do we do that? The easiest way would be leveraging those platforms and then audience targeting. I won't have you pop this in the chat, but really good when we're thinking about audience targeting. This was such a good quote. Like targeting everyone is like targeting nobody. So choosing the right audience is definitely key to your success. I was going to have you drop the social media platforms in the chat, but honestly, we know Facebook, we know Messenger, we know Twitter, Instagram. These are some of the most common ones, but I don't know if you guys knew it, but there is actually 120 social channels. I didn't know that before I started digging in deep, because we talk about Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat, of course, TikTok, but 120. So again, going back to that first fact that I dropped, with one user has about 9 social media platforms. So we have so many opportunities and so many places to connect with one person. And then here's just some other stats concerning concerning social platform users, how they're using them. Facebook is by far, it is leading the pack with over 2.9 million users to their platform, monthly users. So again, you can look down, there's YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, WeChat, TikTok, and then there's some international ones. But when you're thinking about leveraging platforms, you absolutely want to be on Facebook. So now we've talked about setting our goals. We've talked about the platforms that our audience is on. Now we want to identify that target audience. So what's a target audience? That would be a group of people that's most likely to be interested in the product or service that you're offering. And the members of that group, usually they share common traits, which is why it's so easy to find them. So someone who is into nature might also be into vegetarian, being a vegetarian. Someone who is interested in, who's an educator, would most likely identify with the messages that CCR puts out on how to help our teens avoid the traps of substance abuse. So why we identify those target audiences, so that we can spend the advertising budget and the efforts more effectively. Knowing which social media platform to focus on helps us when we have thoroughly identified the audience or audiences that will keep coming back to our page. And then we can develop that message that truly will resonate with current and potential customers. It makes it easier to connect with them and earn their loyalty. So we talked about how many profiles one person might have. We talked about all the different platforms that there are that we can engage with them. But like that full number is 3.8 billion people around the world are social media users. And so that's why it's really key to identify who your audience is, because again, targeting everyone is like targeting no one at all. So again, why define it? We want to spend that budget effectively. We want to know which platforms that they're on, and we want to develop the messaging. How we do it. We're going to study current user behavior. We can dig into the information is endless. We can discover who they are, what they're talking about, what they're looking for, why do they trust? And then also, we don't want to forget about who our competition is because they are out there and they are doing the same exact thing. So we've gone through setting our goals. We've talked about leveraging those platforms, and we've talked about the audience. Now we get to start diving into the fun part, which is what should we say to these people? So social media messaging, it refers to how we communicate with that social audience. Think about followers, fans, your customers, and then those prospects. On the right side of the screen, it does kind of break down, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but it talks about how each user likes to be communicated on these different platforms. So for Instagram, it's formal and a personal connection, whereas um, TikTok, I want to be entertained, and then LinkedIn, I want to be educated. So our messaging selection is key. There's uh, three different parts of this recipe, so to speak. So that's the marketing message. It refers to how the brand communicates its mission and the value of its products or um, to consumers on a larger scale. Then there's your brand voice. That refers to your personality as reflected by your tone and your word choice. So, are you more informative? Are you informal? Are you formal? Are you humorous? All those things go into so that when people read a message, it's almost like I don't know if you've ever read a text message from a friend and you can almost read it in their voice. We want your audience to identify you in that way. And we take those two, the marketing message and your brand voice, and we create what we call a social media message that takes the concepts above and packages them concisely into posts, captions, and comments, and also DMs. So we take that marketing message and we take your brand voice and we create what is known as your social media messaging. So the key to message, actually, one simple word, it's relevance. So what you want to talk about, what your readers are interested in, it meets in the middle and it's relevant. So it marries the two so that it increases your engagement. We're able to catch the algorithm because we do have to fight with the algorithm. It gains the trust of the customers, it attracts audiences, and it fuels that social media strategy that you've set out for yourself. Part of the messaging is understanding the journey. So again, one person, 8.6 different platforms. Each of them may have interacted with you in a different way on any given platform. So on the right, you see a post that we did, and that was for Live Well San Diego, that we did for CCR. This is not the typical substance abuse education. It helps someone who maybe is not, who does not suffer from substance abuse or does not have someone in their immediate circle that is, but they still can benefit from the things that you offer, the offerings that you have. Could still be very beneficial for you. So that may be a way that they're introduced to your brand. Another way, as you see as I go on to different messaging, again, people enter into your brand in different ways. They interact with it in different ways. And we want to make sure that the messaging encompasses who you are so that someone can take something from it. And it doesn't feel like it's one note or it doesn't pertain to them. So entertaining content may be great to capture attention at the awareness stage, for example, but members of your audience at the consideration stage, informative or instructional pieces work better for them. So here are some of the messaging that we've put together for CCR or San Diego County-wide media advocacy over the last 8 months. So the very first post on the left, that was a THC post. This was posted on Twitter, and you can see 164 views. People love to be able to read an article. They don't mind clicking off from platform to read an article. The post in the middle was about your red ribbon luncheon. And so this is encouraging the community. Like if you are able to learn more, if you want to come check it out, you can. And then the post on the right is actually a news article speaking to the dangerous trends of cannabis poisoning among toddlers. And so again, we have an article, we have a live event, and then we have um, a news feature. All different ways of messaging, getting our point across, engaging with our end user. And we utilize all of those because, again, everyone is different. How they enter your brand is different. How they understand your organization is at different stages. And then, so we've talked about our messaging. There's also different formats and ways that we can engage with our end users. So there's news feeds, there's also reels, and we can put polls on reels. And so that's another form of engagement. There's also carousel. So it's, multiple images that someone, again, can learn about what you're doing, who you are, why you're doing it, and why it's important to them. And then there's also a collection. So we utilize the different formats primarily, one, to engage with our audience, but it also is a good way to take advantage of leveraging the algorithm on different sites. On different social media platforms. Other types of content messaging could include videos. Video content really is one of the most popular ways for businesses to engage with the audience online. Posts with videos get 2 times more organic traffic than a text-only post. We want to be entertained. And so anytime that you can insert a video into a post instead of just text, I say do it. Infographics. Infographics usually are a great way to grab the audience attention. It houses interesting facts, statistics, and other information. And it does keep people coming back for more. It's like a bite-sized way for them to ingest information, and also deem you as a reliable source for, a fact or two that they can easily incorporate in speeches that they're giving, or just other presentations that they're involved in, or just being able to share with others that they come encounter with. Asking questions, like I showed you on that one reel, there was a post. Asking questions in the post to start discussions and encourage interactions on your social media channels. And then, of course, the use of emojis. According to Huffington Post, emojis are used so often in social media posts because they help express feelings and emotions. And hashtags are also a great way to categorize and track content on social media. So some key learnings from content development. Again, we want to set goals. Goal setting drives what content you ultimately create. Understanding the function of each platform sets the foundation for the user behavior you encourage. Collecting data on your existing customers and the current social media followers. We want to make sure that our messaging is in line with that targeting audience. It's a powerful tool. We are able to target specific audiences through our messaging. and then utilizing different formats to keep that content fresh, relevant, and competitive. So we talk through how to create content. So now that we've created content, we want to be able to distribute it. So in this next section, we'll talk through content distribution channels, planning your content, tools to create the content, the distribution strategy, an editorial calendar, posting schedule, and how SEO fits into all of this. Content distribution really can be summed up into 3 different sections. That's the owned, shared, and paid channels. Owned media is comprised of different channels that the company has complete control over, such as your branded website and any of your social media platforms. Shared channels are earned channels, and that's where a third party promotes or shares the content of your brand. That third party has all the rights over the content and the schedule of when to post it. Posting on these sites is completely free and owned by them, such as, that's why it's called earned. And then there's the paid channels. Those are the channels that the company pays to promote your content. In simple words, to promote your content on an external site, you exchange your content for a fee. So that's really key when you're considering how should I distribute what I've created. Content distribution strategies really are housed into 2 different categories. It's the push and the pull. So the pull strategy, that's where users, you use other channels to drive the traffic to your content on an owned channel. You're trying to pull people away from platforms like Facebook, Google, Twitter, to an owned channel where your content lives. And then there's the push strategy, and that's where you repurpose or republish content natively on other platforms. You're pushing content to wherever people already are hanging out rather than trying to drive them off platform to consume your content elsewhere. And so we do have some examples of that. Let's see if I can get to it seamlessly. Let's see, I may have to stop share. Forgive me. Maybe not. My link does not seem to be working. I will definitely share it, but an idea of a pull strategy would be, let's see, I wrote it down. Give me one moment. Let's just try this. We'll stop share. We'll go to the other view. That'll be much easier for me to get my. Okay. Thanks for your patience.
Sure. There you go.
Here we go. Okay. So getting the users to leave Twitter and consume the content on a different platform or LinkedIn or wherever it is that you're wanting to leave them. So this was a post that we put up, and as you can see, it has a link. And so that will be considered a a pull strategy. So we want them to go off, read this article, gain some knowledge about fentanyl awareness campaign, and then and it's okay if they left. A push strategy would be I don't want them to go anywhere, but I'm going to repurpose ideas from, so like if I took that same article, if I took and just created bullet points within my content, that would be a example of a push strategy. So I'm summarizing basically the article right within my post. I don't want them to leave. I want them to stay exactly where they are. Thank you for your patience there. And so now that we've talked about how we'll distribute it, whether it's going to be on a own channel, on a shared channel, on a paid channel, which most likely yours will be on old channels. They will be on your websites. They will be on your social media platforms. And then every now and then there are third parties where they will you'll partner with them and they will host your content. Um, so we've talked about there's different channels. We've talked about strategy in which we can distribute that media. I think the biggest part would be that editorial calendar. So basically, this is just your think tank. You're sitting down, you're mapping out what exactly am I going to speak to my audience about? And mapping it out gives you a really nice bird's eye view so that you're not repeating yourself, so that the content is engaging, so that you can look over your messaging and see, is this repetitive? Is this something that's going to be relevant? I think the biggest thing, if we could just stop here for like, I think the biggest thing when we're looking at our editorial calendar and we're getting our plan and we have our agenda, we always want to go back to making sure it's going to be relevant. We always want to make sure that, especially in your industry, you might have certain things, you might have had a announcement that you wanted to make. Or you might have had an inspirational quote, but then there's something that happens in the community that you want to be able to jump on quickly. So when you're creating that editorial calendar, I say create space for current events to be placed in those times. And once you have it all planned out, if you do have to shift, it won't feel like a headache. If I was going to play, I was going to do a short video, but a new law was passed that we definitely want to be at the forefront of speaking about. There was a case study that just came out, and even though I was going to ask, poll the audience that day, I definitely want to add that third party article in there. So it's really nice to plan ahead, but when you are, I think it's crucial to leaving space for, having flexibility in that editorial calendar so that you can remain relevant, because if you aren't, your competitors certainly are. And that's why we have different news stations. You never see Fox. Fox would never not report on a current event, because CBS, NBC, those are, MSNBC, they are all going to report. So you want to stay within your competition. You want to make sure that you're giving relevant content, but with your editorial calendar, it does help you to be focused on your messaging for the month, or however far out that you created, and making sure that you have different items in it that is going to attract different audiences. So the fun part, we get to post. And so I pulled images from the top 4. social media platforms. And this is just a really nice roadmap showing you best times and days to post on social media. As you can see for Twitter, 12 p.m., 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., and 8 p.m. are the best times to post. Wednesday is the best day. And for Twitter, the statistics say you can post as late as 10 p.m. Whereas Facebook, the highest time for engagement is 7 p.m. and the best day to post is Friday. You look at Instagram, Wednesday, they say is the best time to post, and 8 p.m. is your highest engagement time. LinkedIn, on a Tuesday, you can start as early as 8 a.m. to get that engagement, and the highest engagement is 8 p.m. And so these are really crucial too when you're looking at how are people engaging? Are they engaging? Did I get as much as I could have? Looking at a posting schedule is really, really key to helping leverage, because we can have the right messaging, we can put it on the right channel, we can have the right audience, but if we're just continuously missing our audience because we're posting on a Saturday or a Sunday, or if it's Twitter, if we're posting on a Monday, those are key things to remember. Because again, we're not posting just to post. We want it to be impactful to those that are receiving our message. And so all of that, how does SEO fit into it? So while social channels are not technically search engines, they do all have search bars. And the big social media platforms, they are incorporating ever more features or traditional search engines to help match users with the content that they want to find. So again, I think a great way to utilize SEO on a platform such as Instagram or Facebook would be hashtags. Even on TikTok, hashtags work so well when you're trying to connect people with the things that they are actually looking for. Um, Social SEO is the practice of adding text-based features like captions, alt text, and closed tab captions to the posts that help people browsing on social platforms easily find your content. And so some of the key learnings for content distribution is absolutely, if you spent time creating content, it makes sense to get as many valuable eyeballs on it as possible. Paid media, owned media, and earned media are the three channels through which a brand can gain exposure and engage with the public. An editorial calendar will streamline your plan and allow you a bird's eye view of when, where, and what you will post. Utilizing the push or pull strategy guides your audience in your brand interaction. And then every network has a sweet spot when it comes to posting times. Leveraging that information allows you to work with the algorithm. And then lastly, social media SEO is optimizing your social media profiles and posts so more people discover your brand in search results. So now that we have set our goals, we've identified our target audience, we've created these beautiful posts, they have great assets, they have hashtags, we've even added emojis. We understand the day and the time that we should be posting. We want to talk about measuring success. So we need to identify the metrics. So again, I said that we were primarily dealing with organic. So these are some really key organic social metrics. Awareness, that would be your impressions, your reach, your follower growth, and any brand mentions. Engagement, that would be the shares, the comments, and the clicks. And then conversions, that would be click-through rate, conversion rate, and traffic. So for your industry, I know sometimes it's like, what can really be considered a conversion when we're talking about e-commerce? It's easy. Did they buy? That's a conversion. For you, again, it would be any of those posts that you put through to I want them to visit the website. I've added something to a blog and I created a post about it. They're going to click through off of social media platforms onto my website, onto my blog. And that would be considered like that click through, that would be considered a conversion because they performed that desired action that we wanted them to. And then any traffic to your actual page, traffic to your website, traffic to if you were to link your YouTube, which is a great way. I think I showed one of the posts did have a YouTube link. So that would be a conversion. How do we determine which metrics are the most important to you? I say link your goals to actions. So if you want website traffic, the goal, and then also we talked about the SMART goals. So we don't just want to say I want more website traffic. We need to give it a number. We need to give it a time frame. So that goal would be I want 50% more website visitors in the fourth quarter. So that goal is web traffic. The objective, we're going to create content and call to actions that actually drive traffic to the website. And then the success would be more people visiting the website and interacting on a deeper level with your brand in general, not just your individual posts. Another goal, more engagement. Again, we're going to give it a actual number that we're trying to achieve and a time frame in which we're trying to achieve it. So more engagement. I want to increase the likes, shares, and comments by 50% in November. How am I going to do that? I can poll the audience with thought-provoking questions. I can provide invaluable tips, and I need to be consistent. I need to be consistent if I want more engagement. What's the success? People who are going to like, share, and comment and repost your content. And the same with follower growth. Again, we're giving that goal a specific metric and we're giving it a time frame. And that's how we can measure, did we meet that goal? Is this, is this metric valuable to me? What is the data that's turning to it? How can I then grow? Say we did not meet that 50%. Maybe we got to 25. We can look at individual posts. Okay, this post only received four people visiting the website, where this one received 40 people visiting the website. We can then take those numbers and we can take that content and say, let's tweak the messaging because maybe it didn't come, that CTA did not compel people to go to the website. So being really clear about what you're measuring, why you're measuring it, helps you to reproduce success and then also pull back and say, where can I adjust? Where can I change my messaging, change, maybe it's not the messaging, maybe it's the actual picture, but gathering all of this information helps you to be better and drive success to the goals that you've set for your business. So there's some tools that we can use that will help us see, where we are. So each social network, it does have a built-in social media metric tracker, and we can find the raw data that we need. So again, Twitter, Meta, TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest, they all come with a metric tracker, and it's absolutely free. You get it with your business account. And then we also have an all-in-one. There are paid options that will pull data in from all sources, such as the tool we use at Thrive, which is Watergraph. And I'll just give you a quick overview of what a paid And so this is actually CCR's report, and it will pull in how many impressions you got for a particular month, how many page likes for whatever time frame. Um, and it pulls it in from all of your different platforms as opposed to a, did I pull it up? I did. As opposed to, so this is LinkedIn. And it's just the information that's happening on LinkedIn, whereas the other tool shows you what's happening on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So it just depends on where you are advertising, where you are posting, and if you don't mind going to the different platforms, if you don't want to pay for an additional tool that will combine all in one. But here it gets very in depth. It will show you who is who are your visitors, how many visitors, and it will help you measure success. We can go really in depth into the analytics, how many people have clicked on um, individual posts, how did they interact with them, did they share it. Really, really, really key when, again, when you're looking at your goal and you're looking at whether or not you hit it and how you need to pivot if you didn't, or what you can do to increase that if you did. So that was a lot of information. I don't think I took nearly enough breaths, but definitely just want to leave you with the fact that digital marketing is marketing that uses digital technology or digital media. It really has revolutionized marketing because it is uniquely powerful. Digital marketing is unique in that it allows you to specifically target your message to the people that may be interested. It lets you measure the effect of your messaging and reproduce what is working.